Fall at Equestria, The Crystal's Howling Dance, by Megaskullmon, read by Forrest M. Chapter 7, Fate and Pain.
The past is full of pain. Prisoners of war tend to be treated very poorly. A heart that shall end in the night, in the air. All most remember is the pain.
I thought deep in my mind. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me. As I write in this journal, I felt the idea of not knowing what will happen. But soon, I will know what the idea is. Maybe my time has come. My friends close to me were going to help me through so many trials. But the thing is, I can't always be sure if they will stop me from doing stupid things. But the idea of knowing what the time is, it's time to see. My journey has fully started around this time, but the thing is, no one will read this. The only time I will allow anyone to read this is when I die. I may have left most of my journey out of this journal, but yes, Fleur and her crew, my friends, the Reaper Fields, and the 3 factions. Maybe I had something to prove at this time. I'm not sure. Day 22. The Bog. The sun slowly came up behind the dark, evil-looking clouds, while we all walked through the smelly bog. Shadow seemed to hold the chewer over his shoulder, looking around calmly. Careful, there's some nasty shit in this bog. Bugs, evil nasty ghouls, and giant creatures. Blinking, I looked to Shadow when he said, giant. Giant creatures? I heard some large stomps, and looked not far from us. There was a strange giant worm creature. Then it went back into the ground.
Okay,
I said softly.
So, run?
Shadow looked at me and blinked. You're kidding, right? Running would be a stupid idea. We would wake up the ghouls in the bog and the ghost. I blinked again, looking over to Shadow. Kip does the same from her helm. Don't believe me? Take off your helm that was given to you. Take a deep breath of the bog. I nodded, removing my helmet, and took a deep breath, and then breathed out. And then I jumped back. Seeing ponies working and living like they did in the past. Seeing zebras working together with ponies.
What?
Shadow smirks. There's a lot of magic in this bog. It kept the magic of all the ponies that have been here. It's one way to see the past, but then it ends with death. I nodded, putting the helm back on, and the ghost vanished. Looking around at the bog, I saw ghouls coming out, and lifted my pistol and fired. Shadow flapped his wings and started up Chewer. Kip floated her teal shotgun and fired. Softpaw stood guard in front of Kip, since she holds all of our food. Silver Gunner just charged at all the ghouls, smashing them with his heavy metal hooves. Shadow called out calmly, "Keep moving. Don't stop and don't let them get close." We all nodded and slowly moved through. We kept walking through. Then, behind us, hell broke loose. The giant worm that we saw came up behind us and hissed in anger. Shadow turned to us all. "Run!" We all started to run through the bog. I noticed Shadow speaking in some strange box. "Pony Trot, need a rock now. Location 445534. Now!" We heard a strange whistling sound, and then a large explosion behind us, but it didn't harm the large worm. Then there was a loud sound, and another whistle. A large shell hit the worm, and it roared in pain. Then it went back into the ground. Shadow spoke back into the strange box. "Thank you. Keep the gates open. Shadow is coming home." We kept running with the ghouls behind us. "Don't stop at all and we'll be fine." Kip kept trotting on her 4 hooves, as all of us kept going faster and faster. "Pony Trot ghouls on our tails. Watchers on the towers. Watchers on the tower. Load the dragon." He put the strange device back into his bag. We kept running, seeing very old buildings, and then a big boom, and sniper fire at the ghouls behind us. A smoking thing went past us. Boom. A bunch of ghouls flew up into the air from the explosion, body parts flying everywhere, and another shot whizzed by. Another boom. We made it to the gate, and Shadow yelled, "Open up, Bulwark! Open up!" A unicorn mare that seemed to be a golden color looked down from the gate. She yelled out in a soft voice,
"It's broken! We're getting the workers to fix it."
She looked over and saw the ghouls and gasped,
"Work harder!"
She floated a large minigun and fired at all the ghouls. We all turned around and fired at the ghouls. Softpaw tossed a metal apple out and it caused more ghouls to fly. Then the gate opened behind us.
"Come in,"
Bulwark said from above. We backed inside and fired more. Then the gate closed. We all sat down, panting hard. Silver Gunner just looked at us and shrugged. Bulwark came down from the gate and got on her back hooves and gave Shadow a tight hug.
"Took you long enough, big guy, to get back."
She smiled, looking towards the rest of us.
"Welcome to our home."
Looking around, we saw old pre-war buildings and guard towers. And then I turned my head around, seeing a large metal monster on a metal platform looking over the gate, and it turned to me. The hatch opened up, and a griffin came out.
"Shadow, you got lucky."
He goes back into the hatch and closes it. Then, looking to see two large guns aiming in the air, with large old shells by them. Then I saw a ghoul in an old pre-war uniform. Shadow saluted.
"Ahem, Warden."
He blinked, looking to Shadow.
"Warden."
Shadow nods. He runs the prison camps here, where the works live and the slaves. Don't upset him or he'll whip you. The ghoul came over and stepped there.
"Lock and key, miss. Now best to get down to the city. Before the..."
He looks to one of the prisoners who is painting a poor unicorn that is weak. He took his gun and fired, killing her.
"Ahem. Before you end up like them. Get this trash away."
We watched some workers take the mare's body to a large heater-like thing, as it seems to be where they keep the heat of the underground going. And maybe it helps makes things work here. They put her body in a large pile of them.
"Let's go."
Kip had tears in her eyes seeing this. Silver Gunner kept her close. Softpaw and Little Hoof looked at all the prisoners, walking towards the way in. We started hearing singing from the slaves and prisoners. "Oh, our hearts are chained. Oh, our souls are broken. Our hope is gone. Oh, please, Goddess, save us. From this, answer our prayers. For we are but fodder of a mad pony. Oh, please save us, so we may see the moon once more. Dance in the sun and bring hope to our broken chained hearts. Oh, bring hope to us." We walked down into a tunnel and opened a door and a large elevator. All of us got into it, and then we saw the city. It was a huge city, like Manhattan. Most of the buildings seemed old, but well kept. Some ponies strapped to wagons getting whipped to pull strange items from place to place. I looked over to see some plants growing. There was a small arena in the middle of it, and it had a sign saying, Hall of Justice. I looked to Shadow and blinked.
"You live here? Really?"
Shadow nods. We need to head to Wheeltread. After we got down, we start hearing a mare getting attacked and about to get raped by raiders. I walked up and punched the stallion, starting it. The stallion flew back and landed on his ass and turned to me.
"Leave her alone,"
I said angrily. Shadow facepalmed. They started staring at me, and above, we saw snipers aiming at both of us. "Break it up!" the sniper yelled. The raiders growled at me, and I helped the mare back onto her hooves and smiled.
"You all right?"
The mare nods and trots off, and Shadow came up to me and stared at me. "Do you have a death wish? You see something happen, you let it happen. Don't go rushing in like a hero." I growled at Shadow, and Kip got between us, and we both calmed down. Kip just smiled at the both of us. Softpaw and Little Hoof shrugged.
So, what now?
Little Hoof asked. Wheel tread is this way. We followed Shadow through the makeshift streets, heading to the arena, and the smell was awful, and we stood in front of a door with a large guard. Hey, Tiny, let us in. The large griffin looked back at us and sighs. All right. He knocks on the door, and we hear a soft, "Come in." We walked into a large room that seemed to have many trinkets in glass cases. We saw him, Wheeltread, a stallion earth pony, locked in a wheelchair with tubes coming out of everything. He seemed weak, but kept alive by strange devices. Come, Shadow, he said softly. Shadow nods and kneels to him. Father. He holds his hoof. I lost interest and looked at the trinkets, and then I saw it. A large round crystal like a full moon. I felt attracted to it. I stared at it, feeling something connected to it. Father, this is Taria, the one I felt that would be a good bodyguard. These are companions, Softpaw, Kipkipe, Silver Gunner, and Little Hoof. Shadow looked over to me. Taria? Wheeltread looked over and smiled. Ah, I see you found the Howling dance. I turned to face him.
Where did you find it? It belongs to my species. It's our god.
Wheeltread snickers. I'm sorry, but it's part of my collection. Now, I need to test you. Get ready to fight. He looks to the others. Follow Shadow to the arena. I need to speak with Taria here. I need to see if she's willing to fight for her life. The others looked to me, and I gave them a nod, and they walked off to follow Shadow. Then Wheeltread came up to me. Now, Miss Taria, welcome to my city. I'm sure you'll like it. I stared at him a moment and sighed.
It's all right, I guess. Anyway, you said I'm gonna need to fight?
He nods and opens a strange door that would lead me down there. Yes, head down there and turn on your pip-buck. I nodded and headed down, turning it on, and a growly voice came through.
Greetings, I am Bowser, Wowzer, the Hellhound DJ of our lovely city. Now, for the news. It seems we have a new group of meat. They caused a stir today by punching one of Red Eye's raiders. It seems she will be taking on this entire group to the death. Well, she is meant to be his new bodyguard. After the last one died. Who no one knows. Anyways, in other news, from what I have learned from DJ Pond 3, there was a megaspell explosion somewhere in the wasteland done by the Lightbringer. Ponies are ponies, always wanting to murder. Anyways, now for some music. How about this song then?
A song started to play through the pip-buck.
Hey everybody, did the news get around about a guy named Butcher Pete? Old Pete just flew into this town and he's chopping up all the women's meat.
Sighing, I turned it off and headed downstairs. I got into the arena and there was cheering. I didn't see my friends. I looked around, sighing again, and stood there. And then there was an announcement from Tiny the Griffin. Every pony, you want justice? Do you want blood? Do you want those guilty to be killed? Well, then I give you Taria Shiverclaw, a creature from Shattered Hoof. The ones she'll be fighting are the wild, the deadly Raiders. A group of Raiders that think they're part of Red Eye's group. Ha! Red Eye's minions deserve justice. Let's see them get it. Blood, blood, blood for justice. The crowd cheered, calling for blood and justice. Seeing a group of 5 pony raiders, I smiled, remembering my first day out. They were all screaming for blood and rape.
Blood! Rape! Rape her!
They started charging at me. I sighed and grabbed my sword, turning on the blowtorch part. I charged at them and did a roundhouse kick to one of them, and they fell on their ass. They laughed, and I kept calm and looked around and growled deeply. I didn't have any issue slicing one of the raiders. They just didn't seem to know what they were doing, and they had no guns. One fell in a pool of blood. Them being only earth ponies was interesting. Then I sliced 4 legs off another and stabbed my sword into him to kill him. And then I looked at the other raiders who seemed scared to death.
No, don't kill us.
Then I heard Tiny speak.
Does every pony want justice?
The crowd cheered, laughing. Justice, justice, justice. They kept shouting. I shrugged and grabbed one of the crying ones and smashed them hard on the ground, over and over, and then, with their bloody body, used them as a club. Then tossed the bloody corpse on the ground, as the others were dead. Folding my arms, I sighed, hearing the cheers. I pulled out my sword and then sheathed it and stood in the middle of the arena.
Do you want more justice?
Tiny yelled out, and the crowd cheered.
Well then, open the gate. Bring in the biggest criminal of our city.
The gate opened, and a large griffin came out.
Everyone, albino here killed ponies in our city. Now, justice.
I sighed. The griffin growled. He seemed hungry. I just took out my gun and fired, blowing his head off, and stared at them.
Is this all you have? Seriously?
My ego was growing. I felt like I could take on anything.
Well then, take on the best of our security.
The gate opened up, and then I saw it. A large robotic creature walking in. It looked like a souped-up robot with large legs and giant miniguns.
I introduce you all to R.A. Proto, created by the Ministry of Technology, found here after the war and rebuilt. Now, justice.
The giant robot came over to me, rushing like a bull. I quickly got out of the way, and then I heard a large spear-like weapon as it landed in the middle of the arena. It seems to be something that could be turned on. I rushed to it fast and picked it up. It was made for ponies to fight, not a creature like me. Then the robot turned and said, arming its miniguns,
"Dance."
It started firing, and I jumped around, moving out of the way of the bullets as I ran away.
Justice,
the crowd yelled. A large missile flew at me from the robot. I used the spear, tossing it, and it blew. As the spear flew back, it stabbed me through the stomach against the wall. Looking up, I grabbed it, tried to pull the spear out, but no dice. Pain went through me, and I started laughing. I kept laughing in pain, feeling that I just got the joke. The ponies kept yelling justice. Then a shot rang out from the stands. There by Tiny, Wheeltread was holding a sniper. He hit a spot on the large bot, and it slumped. It arced a bit, but then fully turned off. He then spoke. "Enough. Justice has been served. I need this one alive." I kept laughing as I was slowly passing out. I saw my friends rushing to me. Little Hoof tried to pull out the spear, and they were all trying to help me, but it was harder than it looked. Thanks to them, they pulled the spear out with a nasty, meaty sound. It caused more pain. From that pain, I passed out. Day unknown. Location unknown. I woke up in the den, back home, and walked through the halls, seeing the one I called Mother, and hid. I was pretty young around this time. She was speaking to my father. I wasn't really worth much to them, because, to my kind, if Moon Warriors had children, they were meant to die. Meant to be killed for the benefit of the others. Apparently, my mother, I never knew her name, she didn't raise me. The elders did. Watching this filled my heart with sorrow. Was there a reason why I'm back here? Was there a reason my mind wanted me to see this? Listening closely, I finally heard words.
I am leaving to join this pony named Wheeltread,
my mother said. My father nodded. It will be better than suffering for giving birth to a moon trash. Being so young, I had no idea what he meant. But Wheeltread? Was my mother the bodyguard? I remembered things. Then there was my swords. Then I saw my mother surrounded by elders and warriors. The elder spoke.
Go before we kill you.
My mother growled, but she slowly left the den. Then they saw me, and I was hit over the head by a shield from behind. And that's all I saw. Day 24, Underground City. I opened my eyes weakly, looking to see all of my friends sitting and waiting for me to wake. Kip seemed to be crying softly. Softpaw was cleaning her guns, not speaking a word. I shook my head a bit and looked over at them again, and closed my eyes again. I softly spoke.
So much pain.
Kip stood up quickly on her hooves, and she rushed to me. She wrapped her forehooves around me, sobbing gently again.
Kip, please relax.
Softpaw gently grabbed her and pulled her away.
She is fine, like Little Hoof and I told you.
Little Hoof nods with a smile. Softpaw held Kip calmly and stroked her back, looking towards Taria.
You're lucky you lived through that. Whatever made you think a spear could save you from that?
I shrugged, groaning in pain. Then the nurse came in.
I am sorry, but you all need to go and let her rest. She will be able to move tomorrow.
Softpaw nodded and helped Kip out of the room, as the unicorn mare was still sobbing. Shadow sighed and helped Softpaw and Kip as well. Little Hoof and Silvergunner gave a nod and walked out. I laid back and sighed. Kip has such a tender heart. How did she last so long in the waste? I saw the door open back up and Wheeltread wheeled in. He smiled and chuckled. I need you alive for a deal tomorrow. I gave a nod, and Wheeltread left, and I closed my eyes and wanted to sleep. I sighed and then fell asleep. No dreams coming from me at all, but I did feel that something bad was about to happen. Day 25, POW Camp. It was early morning. I had my armor on after it got patched up. Wheeltread only let me keep one of my friends with me for this deal. Kip was beside me. My other friends were waiting inside the cave.
So who are we meeting, sir?
I asked. Wheeltread looked at me. You will see. Now don't hold any weapons. Please make sure you're on your best behavior. Bulwark sounded out. Bulwark sounded out. They're here, sir. I looked up to see a flying black thing. I blinked while watching it land. It was a Pegasus. It came out and stood in front of Wheeltread. Ah, yes. Hello, Captain Sharpflight. It's good to see the Enclave back on the ground after so long. Now, if I may ask, what would keep you from attacking my home here? The Pegasus looked around and shrugged. You don't really have anything I want. Wheeltread brought out a glass case, holding the Howling dance. What about this, sir? The captain's eyes go wide, seeing the gem. Taking it and holding it while it glows loudly. It's like a perfect small moon. This can be used for... Wait, excuse me. He left us and listened to something on his ear. After a while, he came back. Thank you for the deal, but... The captain pulled a gun out and shot Wheeltread right in the head. Wheeltread fell back and his body laid there, draining of blood. Now I have something to say. Surrender, all of you. If you do... Ah! I grabbed the neck of the Pegasus, my eyes glowing angrily.
We offered a deal in peace, and you killed him. You killed him! You ponies will prove to me to always be worthless trash.
The Pegasus that was driving the... whatever it was, flew off, and I held the captain.
I don't care what happens to me.
The medics rushed to help Wheeltread and carried him downstairs. I kept hold of the Pegasus and grabbed onto his wings with my other clawed hand.
You ponies will never change. You worthless creatures should all be purged from this wasteland. Starting with you.
I pulled on the wing of the captain, and he screamed in pain.
Feel the pain of 200 years of war you fucking ponies caused. Feel the blight that you ponies put on this land. Oh, I heard of you, Enclave. You're still part of the blame, like the past. I don't care if it was 200 years ago. You never change.
I yelled at the Pegasus.
It's time to stand up. It's time to destroy the Raiders, the Slavers, the Enclave, the Steel Rangers. It's time to take a fucking stand.
I used my claws on the Pegasus wing, using that to cut and rip it apart, tossing it to the ground.
Is that enough for you?
The Pegasus cried in pain. I grabbed his other wing. Kip and the others were trying to stop me, and I lifted my hand to stop them.
No more. I've had it with you ponies. The only one I care about is you, Kip, and the ones that you and Silver Gunner found. This one deserves the pain of who they work for. I clawed off the other wing and tossed it on the ground, and then tossed him on the ground. Arrest him, and let the court bring him to justice.
They nodded and carried him off, and I looked to Bulwark.
Bulwark, I know I haven't been his bodyguard long. Get everything ready just in case they attack. I need to check on him. Shadow, get ready. Silver Gunner, protect the slaves. Kip, take care of the wounded. Softpaw, Little Hoof, get ready, just in case they get in.
I grabbed the glass case that held the Howling dance and looked down to it and sighed, heading down into the city. Day 25, Underground City. I was in the hospital room, holding Wheeltread's hoof, and sighed softly, saying softly,
I just got out of here, and fate is making me drive so quickly. I hear these stories of the Lightbringer and how she caused the Enclave to show up. So much is happening so fast. I can't take it. I don't know if I'll be able to fight them off. I feel this is the end of my journey.
I felt a hoof on my face, and Wheeltread spoke softly.
You need to live. Promise me, Turia. If the battle is lost, take the back way out and head to the desert between the tracks to Appaloosa and New Appaloosa. You need to live. You need to learn the truth.
Wheeltread passed out, and I sighed. I got my armor on and my weapons. I went outside to see if things were ready. All right, Turia's all ready, Shadow said to me, and I looked to him.
Where is the back way out of here? I'm sorry to say, but Wheeltread asked me to go out on my own to get out of here.
He sighed. I'm sure we have time. I thought so hard on the word of fate. Journal entries from the others. Softpaw's claw writing in Turia's journal seems pretty normal, but also a bit rushed, but it's interesting, to say the least. What I think of fate. I hear Turia talk about it ever since I met her. She also left this journal for all of us to read it. I doubt that's what she really wanted, but from the short time I've come to know her, I feel she's lost in this world. The fate is something I feel she was right about. While these things are being written and talked about, Turia is rushing about, making sure everything is ready. I'm not sure, but I have lived through so much in this wasteland, and it seems to be wanting to kill her. Like with the Lightbringer, fate seems to be using her as well to become strong and fight back. Along with security, so many mares and young that fight, but seem to fall at first. I feel this may be the time she falls. Something falling is the best way to find yourself, just like I did so long ago. Turia is going to fall, and fall hard. I'm sorry to say, but it seems the battle is almost here. I hope I get to see her rise again. The journal entry ends. I'm rushing towards everywhere to see if everyone is ready for this battle, to make sure some protect Wheeltread so he will heal, even if he got shot in the head. Then, looking at the back way out, seeing it's the only way out if they control the wall. Then, another starts to write in the journal. The writing seems to be from Little Hoof.
I am what many call a monster. I never trusted many little ponies. I am a minotaur. I was protected by Fleur. I felt she was the only pony that respected my kind. She allowed me to escape after I was accused in the past of being a spy for the zebras, in fact. If it wasn't for Fleur and her crew, I would have been forced to something I felt that wasn't pleasant. Then, after that, my life woke till I was on that ship in the wasteland, saved by Taria. I haven't known her for very long, but from what I see, she needs friends for her fate to give her a break. I feel bad for her. I feel this test is going to break her and shatter her hard. I see a big heart in her. From what I saw in the war and in this new world of death and pain, I feel it's time for me to pray. For her and for all of us around. Oh, please, Discord, protect us all.
The journal entry ends. I'm rushing towards the gates, getting them ready, and I look towards the warden. I'm rushing around the gates, getting them ready, and I look to the warden.
Arm those slaves and prisoners and get them ready to fight.
I was panting hard. The warden looked back up to me and was about to talk back.
Arm them. Now, get them ready. We all need to be ready. We hurt one of them, and they will return to try to kill us all.
Another journal entry. It's done by Kipkipe.
I have been in this wasteland all of my life, born in a camp of raiders. I was raised to be a raider. Then they were murdered because of my failure, really. But I found Silvergunner, and then my husband. I feel that my life is wonderful and happy because of Silvergunner. Then I met Taria and Shadow. Taria is one that seems to need a lot of help through her journey. I learned that she's an outcast and what is called a moon warrior? A warrior meant for death. I never understood that. But yes, Taria, I care deeply for her. She needs friends. She needs love as well. I hope she finds that, and when this is said and done, that she will be at peace. I hope the peace is good enough for her. Oh shoot, she hates when folks read her journal, so I need to go.
Journal entry done. I was trying to make sure the tank was ready. I was overtaxing myself even when I was wounded. This needed to be done. It was something that most wouldn't understand, really. How can it be that I haven't even been out in this waste almost 1 month? Then I get tossed in this world's problems so quickly. It's like the waste that the ponies made from their silly war, but it's been 200 years. I can't fully blame them for what happened to them. Friendship was meant to be the main part of this world. Did it die? I thought to myself most of the time while rushing through here alone. I had no idea what I was in for. I've never faced the Enclave. I've just heard stories. Journal entry from Wheeltread. It would seem that Taria destroyed her life, just coming here to help me in my empire. But fate had other things for her. From what I am told, the waste hates heroes. I wish I could have seen her in this time of need, but I do know that she fought with a great heart. But her hate for ponies shows through the fact that she blames them all for what the world is like now. She's not far from the truth. Sadly, we fell so hard. The ponies of the past didn't deserve to be looked down like monsters. But sadly, it's how we see the world now. Taria not being a pony doesn't understand why this war was started. But is it wise to tell her that this all started because of Cole? Who would tell her this? But yes, I didn't see the battle. But I heard during the battle she was strong. I hope the next time we meet again. Here, I write on this bed while she was thinking I was dying on a bed. but I was more using this time to protect myself, allowing everyone around me to die. Since no one can get into this room, I think soon she will learn this, and I will be dead. Journal entry ends. I was at the bar drinking water calmly. I felt I did all I could, closing my eyes. I was sobbing softly to myself. The pain of the rush of this. Was I going to die? Was I really going to fail everyone? I couldn't just fail. I kept thinking I would fall. I looked back, hearing about the other heroes. I'm not as strong as the Lightbringer. She is doing so much. I can't stand up to the deeds that security is doing in the Hoof. What were my deeds? Bringing these 3 factions together? Killing a bunch of raiders? Turning off puppets? Bringing a cruise ship of controlled ghouls back to the real world? So much is happening so fast. If this was something another one could handle? I sighed softly, turning on my pitbuck.
Bow wow! Everyone, I got news. I'm hoping this is false. The Enclave has returned. They will not stop till we are all serving under them. Rise up, my friends, rise up. Take the stand like the wolf is doing. The wolf is seeking more to help fight.
I turned off the pitbuck, seeing young foals holding weapons and coming up to me. The leader of them speaks, a young unicorn filly.
We wish to fight.
Blinking, I never saw young ones. Were they in parts of the city I never went to? How can I let them fight? But then, this is their home.
I doubt I could tell you no. Stay in here, and if they break through, fight here till the end.
I stood up and went into a dark part of the underground city, holding my chest, feeling my heart beat. Fate, why do you hate me so? You ruined my life. Then, I headed back to the top and looked to Bulwark, who seems to be talking to Shadow.
Please, Shadow, I can't let you fight them. They could be here at any time.
Shadow nodded, and I sighed and wrapped my arm around Shadow, and he looked at me, worried. Daria, you should sleep. You seem very out of it. Don't worry, I'll call you when they get here. I nodded and went to the wall and leaned on it and fell asleep, the world going black. Dreams. What are dreams to most folks? Dreams can be the window to someone's soul. A dream can be the window to those souls as well. It's hard to understand the truth, really. For most, they don't seem to understand the path within the ending night. Sometimes, a path of the dream is what you see in your heart. I, for one, saw whatever dreams can be. They can either be ways to end your life or to show you your fate. My fate? My fate seems to have been written since I left my pack. I feel this battle is going to be the end of my life. Even as I slept, I dreamed. I dreamed of war. War of the past. War of 200 years. A war that seemed to destroy my like for the world. I am not sure, but this time, the ghoul didn't ruin my sleep. My eyes pop open after hearing a siren. I rush to the gate to see a force of the Enclave. A lot of that black armor and that one strange flying contraption. From what I was told about them, the Enclave might capture this place and keep it and then murder all the ponies and creatures when they find what they want. I heard a voice speak softly.
War. War never changes. But this is a war that might kill us all.
I looked to see the griffin that said that as he went back into his tank. The battle would start just from my word alone, since we have time before they fully get here.
Every pony? Fire.
Footnote. Footnote. No level and no perk.